Hey guys, today we are going to solve exponentials using common bases. So remember, the base is the big number. Sometimes it is a variable, and then the exponent is the little one that's kind of off and up to the side. So step one is going to be rewrite the problem so that the bases are the same. In other words, they're common. Step two, we're going to cross out the common bases. Step three, solve the equation. Step four, check your solution. One thing I want to keep in mind is remember a fractional base can be written as a whole number with a negative exponent. And we'll see that once we get to example number 4. All right, so let's do some examples. And I'm going to go to my dry erase board because when I did the double screen, it got a little blurry for you guys. So let's go ahead and make this a little bigger. Let me drag this over here so that I can still see the problems. All right, so 16 equals 4 to the x. If I want them to get common bases, some of you might realize that 16 can be written as 4 times 4 or 4 squared. So I can write this as 4 squared, which makes it a common base to this 4 that's on my right side. So 4 squared equals 4. Step 2 is going to be to cross out my common bases here. So I'm going to cross out these 4s, and that's going to leave me with 2 equals x. So I'm going to check my work. Whenever you check your work, you want to sub it into the original. So does 16 equal 4 squared? That's true, so I know that this is my answer. Another way to solve this same problem, let's say you didn't realize that 16 could be written as a 4, you can always break it down even smaller than that. So let's just say I want to break it down to 2 times 8 is 16, 2 is prime, so now I'm just going to break down the 8, 2 times 4 is 8, 4 is 2 times 2, so 16 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 to the 4th. And then I can take 4 and break that down to its primes too, and that's going to be 2 squared. So I'd have 2 to the 4th, 2 squared, and then there's that times the x that was there. Cross out your common bases, and I would get 4 equals 2x, divide by 2, and I still get that x equals 2. So 2 different options to get to that one solution. When we look at number 2, so 2 to the x plus 5 equals 2 to the 6th. These are already common bases, so I can just go ahead and cross those bases out. And that leaves me with the equation x plus 5 equals 6. So subtract 5, x equals 1. We do want to make sure we check it. Is 2 to the 1 plus 5 equal to 2 to the 6? Is 2 to the 6 equal to 2 to the 6? Yes, so I know I'm good to go. Let's look at number 3. So number 3 is where we need to make sure we learn those exponent rules. So we have 1 equals 5 to the x. And we know 1 is prime and 5 is prime, so we can't break that down. But something special about 1 is any number to the 0 equals 1. So if I can pick any number and I have 5 over here, I'm going to make this just say 5 to the 0, because 5 to the 0 equals 1, equals 5 to the x. So that would mean, cross out your common bases, 0 equals x. So now we're going to just check. Does 1 equal 5 to the 0? Yes, anything to the 0 is 1. Number 4, 1/2 equals 8 to the 2x. For some reason, we have that fraction phobia. But remember, we learn laws of exponents. So if you had x to the negative 2, you are allowed to write that as 1 over x squared, right? Because that's really x to the negative 2 over 1. The negative exponent flips it and changes its sign. So if I have 1 over 2 to the 1, I could write that as 2 to the negative 1. And that's what I want to do. So 2 to the negative 1 is the same as 1 over 2 to the 1, or 1/2. So 2 to the negative 1 for that side. 8, I'm just going to break down 2 times 4, 2 times 2. So 1, 2, 3. 8 equals 2 cubed. So instead of 8 here, I'm going to put 2 cubed. And then I want to make sure, it's really important, you multiply everything over here. So this now says 3 times 2x. This 2 cubed is what went into the 8. The 2x just comes down. So 2 to the negative 1 equals 2. 3 times 2x is 6x. Cross out your common bases. Negative 1 equals 6x. Solve for your x. Divide by 6. So x equals negative 1/6. And then you want to check that. So does 1/2 equal 8 times 2 to the negative 1/6? You want to use the original. 1/2 equals 8. This would actually be negative 1/3. And if you plug that in your calculator, you will see that that works. Or you can realize the negative means that this is going to put it over here. 1 cubed is really saying the cubed root of 8. What cubed is 8? And that would give you 2. So you could check that in your calculator. I was just showing you what it actually says. All right. Here is number 5. So 256 to the 2x equals 4 to the 6x minus 2. Some of you might recognize that 256 is a perfect square. It's 16 squared. So 16 and 16 break down to 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. So 256 is the same as 4 to the 4th because 4 4s make up 256. So instead of this 256 here, I'm going to put a 4 to the 4th. And then I have that 2x equals 4 to the 6x minus 2. So now they have common bases of 4, so I can cross that out. 4 times 2x is 8x equals 6x minus 2. Now I'm just going to solve for x here, so get the x's to one side. 8x minus 6x is 2x equals negative 2. Divide by 2, and I get x is negative 1. So I want to check 256 times 2 to the negative 1. Does that equal 4 times 6 to the negative 1 minus 2? So 256 to the negative 2, 1 over 256 squared. Does that equal 4, negative 6 minus 8? So 1 over 4 to the 8th. So in my calculator, 256 times 256 is 65,536. And that's the same as what I get when I do 4 to the 8th. Okay, if you did not recognize 256 as a perfect square, you might have done 256 breaks down to 2 and 128. Okay, you at least should know that it's an even, so 2 goes into it. So 2 and 64, maybe you could recognize that 64 is a perfect square. So 2 and 4, 2 and 4, 2 and 2, 2 and 2. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 256 is 2 to the 8th times my 2x. And then break down 4 would be 2 and 2. So 4 is going to be 2 squared times that 6x minus 2. Cross out your common bases. 16x equals 12x minus 4. Still solve for x. So 4x equals negative 4. And we would still get x is negative 1. So either way you do it, you should get x is negative 1. All right, let's look at the last one, which is number 6, which looks super confusing just because there are 2 fractions. So can you see what I'm writing? Yes. 1/2 x plus 2 equals, let me just move this eraser. There you go. 1/8 x minus 4. Okay, so if there is a fraction, that's just meaning that this is 2 to the negative 1, and then I have the x plus 2. That was already there. Okay, 1/8. Remember, 8 is 2 cubed. 1, 2, 3 2's. See it? So if 8 equals 2 cubed, 1/8 equals 2 to the negative 3. It's just telling me to put it in the bottom. So 2 to the negative 3, times that x minus 4 that was already there. All right, cross out my common bases here. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. Negative 1 times 2, negative 2. On this side, negative 3x plus 12. So get your x's to one side. I tend to move them to the left. It does not matter which direction you go. Add 2. 2x equals 14. Divide 2. X is 7. And of course, we want to check, does 1/2 7 plus 2 equal 1/8 7 minus 4? So does 1/2 to the 9th equal 1/8 to the 3rd? So now I have a graphing calculator. You might not, but you should be able to still check it with a scientific calculator. And you will see 1/2 to the 9th gives me that. 1/8 to the 3rd gives me that. So I'm good to go. All right, see you guys in class.